everyone, welcome back to Belle's Books. I'm Carly and today I want to talk to you about some more non-fiction for Non-Fiction November. Now when I finished filming my last TBR and recommendations video for Non-Fiction November, I looked across my study and saw 3 books that I forgot to speak about. So I thought I'll film another one, talk about those 3 books, but actually I've got quite a stack here of other non-fiction books I picked out to talk to you about as well. So the 3 that I forgot to talk to you about last time were, I bought them especially for Non-Fiction November. The first one, can you see it? It's a bit odd light in here today. It is On Connection by Kay Tempest. I need to take this sticker off. I don't like these stickers. Signed by the author, so that's exciting. Woo! Their signature is in there. So this is a very short book about connection and creativity. So Kay Tempest is a poet, a performance poet and a recording artist. And this book is about the way that we are creative and what that does for us in terms of like our mental well-being and our inner peace, I guess. So it looks at creativity and what creativity does for us. So I'm really intrigued by this. As soon as I heard about this, I went out and got it. So very excited, and I say this every time. Hopefully it shouldn't take me too long to read because it's only a little book. It's like 120 pages. So yes, definitely this. All right. Then I picked up Notes Made While Falling by Jen Ashworth. Jen Ashworth is a writer of fiction and an academic. This is a bit of a genre-bending book, I think. So it's part memoir. She is reflecting on like a traumatic childbirth. So it's looking at women's health, what to do around childbirth and mothering. And I think it's a little bit of everything else as well, because in the blurb it talks about how this is about creativity as well. So I thought it'd be interesting to read those 2 books together, because it's giving me vibes of Maggie Nelson's The Argonauts, where it's a memoir talking about personal experience but also talking about literature and creativity and politics and all that kind of good stuff. So this one sounds really interesting. Like, let me just read. I'm not going to read the blurb, but I just read a little bit here. So it says, moving from fairgrounds to Agatha Christie, from literary festivals to neuroscience and on to the Bible, and from Chernobyl to King Lear. This book takes us on a fantastic journey through familiar landscapes transformed through unexpected encounters and comic combinations. What? Sounds like a roller coaster. Also, I just love Jen Ashworth. And the last one I forgot to speak to you about was How to Do Nothing, Resisting the Attention Economy by Jenny Odell. Now, this has been around BookTube. Obviously, everyone's been talking about it. And it's a beautiful cover. And I really wanted to pick this up because, now, this is not, like people have said, this is not like a self-help book, like how to put down your phone and stop going on Facebook. This is about, I think, a way to be proactive about where you focus your attention. And one of the things that I have been struggling with recently, particularly since lockdown, is the way that I can't concentrate. My attention is all over the place. And particularly when there's scary things going on in the news, like there is at the moment. I'm checking my phone all the time. And even when I'm doing something, like if I'm writing, so if I'm writing a PhD chapter or I'm doing my creative writing, whatever, I always have to have something on at the same time. Like I'll put on an ASMR room or an ASMR video to have some other noise. And I've even found myself, talk to me if you've done this, I've got something on in the background, like I've got YouTube open playing an ASMR room on my laptop, and I have to put, and I go on my phone, I put one on my phone as well. Like I've got, I don't know what it is, like there's a drive going, there's something else, I need something else, I need something else. And I think this is, to do with our saturation with technology and the way that our attention is always being taken up by one other thing. Like I noticed it when we're watching a film, me and Dan are watching a film, and maybe Holly's round, and we're watching a film, but every now and then we'll all pick up our phones and go on our phones and go, oh, look at this funny thing. because we can't just do one thing. We can't just focus our attention on one thing. And that drives me nuts, even though I do it. So I'm hoping this will give me some insight. Okay, so then I pulled some other books off of my bookshelves of nonfiction that I had for a while and wanted to get to or finish, because some of these books I have started. Now this is an autobiography of Cathy Acker. So after Cathy Acker, a biography by Chris Kraus. I've had this for a little while, and this is on my PhD reading list because I am writing a little bit about Cathy Acker, who was a writer in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and she was an experimental writer. She was in kind of the punk era, and she did like mashups. So her books are kind of like mashups of classical literature. So she does it a lot with Dickens. She'll take a Dickens text and she'll kind of like bastardize it and put in, so she mixes high and low culture. So she'll take a Dickens book and put in like references to pornography or pop culture references, and it's just, it blows your mind a little bit if you've not read any. It's not easy and it's acquired taste. So I thought reading a biography about her would help give me a bit more insight. So that's what this is. And yeah, looking forward to getting to this. I might dip in and out of it actually, because I do that with a lot of my reading for PhD. I don't tend to read the whole book. I'll skip in and out and use it as and when I need to. So that is another interesting one. Another book I bought for PhD research is Genius and Ink, Virginia Woolf, on how to read. This is a book produced by the Times Literary Supplement, and it basically combines Virginia Woolf's writings that she wrote for the Times Literary Supplement on various authors. So like reviews she did of books and authors. So we've got Charlotte Bronte, George Eliot, John Evelyn, Joseph Conrad, Thomas Hardy, and just Virginia Woolf's writings about reading. So that is perfect for my PhD. I'm writing a lot about Virginia Woolf and her influence on Ali Smith. So we'll carry on with a little bit of that. Now, I have a very darling book next. I have started this one. I started this one in lockdown when I was feeling sad and needed some comfort. One of my biggest comforts is Gardner's World, Monty Don. So I started Nigel, which is a book about his dog Nigel, who sadly passed away just recently. And Nigel was one of the reasons that I used to watch Gardner's World religiously, because I bloody love him. He's such a lovely dog. And the day that he died, I was so upset. For a dog I've never met, I could not stop crying. I sat in here in my study and I was like crying. And Dan came in and was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "Nigel was dead." It was horrendous. So this is a lovely tribute to his dog Nigel. And it's just very nice and comforting to read. Although it'll be sad when I get to the end. A recommendation of a book that I have read. This is The Wild Places by Robert McFarlane. This is kind of like almost a travel book where Robert McFarlane travels around the British Isles to try and find wild places, which he has in his mind at the beginning of the journey as places that are untouched by human interference, that are specifically wilderness places. So he goes to Wales and Scotland, and I think he goes over to Ireland, and islands that are kind of uninhabited, to try and find these places. And it's kind of a bit of a discovery about how those kind of places don't exist because everything's been touched by humans. And it's just, I found it really interesting. There's like social history in here, commentary on the fact that we've lost so much woodland throughout the British Isles, the fact that we've, as a human race, destroyed a lot of our planet, has destroyed the natural world. We've lost species of animals because of it. So it is a little bit depressing, but I don't know, I just found this a really nice read, although there are some kind of sad parts to it. I would highly recommend this, and it's a good one. I read this over a long time, read it for my book club, I read it like a little bit at a time. It was just nice to kind of sink into, and almost like during lockdown when we were only allowed to go out once a day for exercise, this felt like a nice substitute because you're reading about the natural world, and his description of landscape is just beautiful. So would highly recommend this. Okay, then I have another thing I'm reading for my PhD. Again, I'm dipping in and out of it. This is kind of a two-in-one. The Art of the Novel, and it's a collection of essays written by various authors, edited by Nicholas Royal. And each chapter looks at kind of a theme in literature. So the first chapter is How to Write Magic Realism by Leonie Ross. I bloody love Leonie Ross. If you've not read anything by her, read her short story collection, Come Let Us Sing Anyway, because she's a fabulous writer. So we've got these various sections, and other ones like on comic fiction, Jen Ashworth in here as well, life writing. So there's a little chapter about what that theme or topic does. So magic realism, what it looks like in a novel or a short story, or as Leonie Ross says, how to write weird shit. And then it's also like a practical book for creative writers, because they give you exercises at the end of each chapter so you can write your own. So we've got like top tips and an exercise, and then recommendations from that author of 10 books or however many books that you should read if you're interested in this kind of writing. So I find that fascinating because it's kind of insight into various different kind of literature tropes or themes, and then you can do exercises on them. Fantastic. So very much enjoying that. Now this one looks amazing. Witches, sluts, feminists. It's just like all of my favourite things in a book. This is a book about witch feminism, which is right up my street. So from what I can glean, it is a look at feminism, and particularly through contemporary witchcraft, the way that contemporary witchcraft is being practiced, and how that links in with feminist activism. Fantastic. It kind of, you know how I was struggling with this book, this memoir, Initiated, sorry about the light, by Amanda Yates Garcia. I think this probably does what I wanted this to do, and it's a lot thinner. So I might just return this to the library and just give this a go, because it sounds perfect. So I will let you know how I get on with that. Then the last two, this is a comfort read. Again, it's been all over BookTube. The Adventures of Mae West, Lady Detective, is about the life of a lady detective, and that's really all I know. And apparently it's sounds a bit far-fetched, like her life sounds a bit bonkers, like it reads like a novel, but it just sounds delicious, and particularly good for this time of year. I might not get to this month, but I would kind of like to read this over the winter, so maybe I will pick this up for December. But I just really love the sound of it. And then we have, I've mentioned this before again, I think, All the Lives We Ever Lived by Catherine Smith, Seeking Solace in Virginia Woolf. Again, a kind of a tangent with my PhD, because it mentions Virginia Woolf, so therefore anything to do with Virginia Woolf I'm claiming as PhD research. But this also sounds like an interesting memoir. It's kind of memoir, it's kind of literary criticism, and she is reflecting on her reading of To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, and it sounds like she's applying it in a way that is relevant to her own life, because she, when you read a book and you have like a really deep connection with it, like a revelation, I think To the Lighthouse was hers, and it was bound up with losing her father. So I think her father died either after she read it or like when he was ill or something, and so the reading of the book is tied up with grief and losing her father, and so it's almost like written like a love letter to her dad, which just sounds like heartbreaking but lovely. And so that kind of really resonates with me because I miss my dad a lot too. So anything to do with father-daughter relationships and grief over a parent, I can resonate with, and so I've wanted to pick this up for a long time. So it sounds amazing. So there you go. There are some more non-fiction recommendations for you and books that I will possibly dip into over this month. At the moment, I've just been reading the group read for Non-Fiction November, which is The Yellow House by Sarah Broom, and enjoying that so far. But I haven't picked up anything else, so I need to get on with it. So talk to me in the comments below. Have you read any of these books? Do you want to? Are you intrigued by any? And I will speak to you all in my next video. Bye, guys.